Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Star Trek the Motion Picture, the Director's Edition, remastering in 4K. We got some more images. It's very exciting. Now, I've already done a video about this because I was so excited. I talked for about 15 minutes. I'm like, I need to do a shorter video. I love Star Trek the Motion Picture. It's my favourite Star Trek film. I love the visuals, and I love the Director's Edition, except for the San Francisco tram scene. The new shots they did for that were absolutely appalling. They literally went out on the bay with a digital camera, took some photos and used them as plates and just whacked on some bad CGI buildings. It's hideous, and it's nothing on the original matte paintings that were planned that were very dynamic and beautiful and matched the original shot and the rest of the film. What they did for the Director's Edition, horrible. And I was hoping they would do it and fix it. But I was worried because originally when they approached Paramount, all they said was, look, we've got all the original film elements, the original FX and everything. All we need to do is re-render them at 1080 and we can put out a 1080 version of the film. Paramount wouldn't give them the money because they didn't care. They'd had their DVD, they didn't care. They made the money, they moved on. They didn't care about the fans. But now Paramount Plus needs content and they're looking for anything they can make into content. They're like, oh, gee, how would you guys like some money to do a new version remastering, 4K remaster of the Director's Edition that we can put on Paramount Plus? And like, okay. So it sounded like they would do more, they would add more to it, but there wasn't any confirmation for a while. And I was like, are they just going to strictly upgrade it and just improve the quality and that's it and change nothing because that's the version that Robert Weiss signed off on? Or are they going to go into it further and do more because they know from working with him that he wanted to do more but couldn't because they probably had a very limited budget for the actual Director's Edition that they did. So it looks like they've gone in, they've done extra stuff. Probably the most exciting thing is what they said in it. There was an article and they said the updated look behind the scenes now includes not only a look at the new imagery from the film, but a surprise as well. The team has located and scanned in original photography plates of images planned for use in the 1979 edition of the motion picture, but never used, even in the 2001 Director's Edition. So this is really good because there's a lot of stuff that that was supposed to be in there that now can be in there. There's stuff that now it may be as simple as the space dock scene. So I was looking for the image. I want to talk about it while I'm looking at it. The original one didn't have the Earth in the background like it's supposed to. Sorry for my voice. I've been sick. I didn't notice all these years. I never noticed the Earth disappeared because the Earth's in the background, of course, when they do the big fly around of the Enterprise. But when they actually get to the docking scene where they leave, it's just black in the background. Now, I didn't notice for a long time. When I realised, I didn't care because I think artistically that was the decision they made where they're just like, look, it's a movable thing. Maybe it's just moved to a bit of an angle and, you know, the Earth's not behind it anymore because it's orbiting or something. So we can just have focus on the Enterprise. You just see the Enterprise. And I think that sequence is beautiful. I don't think putting the Earth behind it undermines it or ruins it, but I was just happy with how it is. But we still have a different edit of it in the Wrath of Khan, so I'm fine with having two versions, one with the Earth in the background, one with the Earth not in the background. It's fine. The only issue some people are having is that they do appear to have brought the lighting up in the shot, possibly because they figured the Earth is going to put more light on it, but even if the Earth isn't in the shot, it's still the same lighting, so I don't think they had to do that. But it probably will just be an improvement. You'll see more detail. But the shot they included, which is taken off the computer screen, it's not a final rendered high-resolution image. It's just they've, photographed their screen. It looks blown out and awful, but it's probably just because it's taken off the screen. But some people are freaking out about that. Now, one of the other things that they did, they also changed the probe as it approaches the Enterprise. Instead of just a blob of light, now it has structure and it looks more like the probe that Leia had on her neck and that we see later on in the film. I'm okay with it. It's more detail, it's more interesting. We still have the original shot. I'm not really bothered by it, although it does look really green. I'm not sure about the lighting there. I'm not sure. It may just be how it's photographed. Again, this might be photographed off the screen, not a finished actual image. Some people were complaining there's a shot of it approaching the Enterprise and there's a little bit of lens flare. I think the original shot had some lens flare, but people are freaking out because, oh God, they're going to try and JJ the effects and every shot's going to have lens flare in it, which I personally don't like myself because what it tries to tell you is that you're looking through a camera in space at the thing for real, whereas the original effects just put you in space looking at it. and having the lens flare imply there's a camera there, it just takes you out of the shot, takes you out of the moment. It never works for me. We know there's not a camera floating in space, and that would mean we're supposed to be aware of the fact that there's a camera on all the actors and everything throughout the film, and you're not supposed to be thinking of the camera. So it never made any sense to me to put that sort of lens flare in special effects shots. People hate it, I hate it, and I don't think they're doing it here. They said it's just for a second as it passes. It's not like, there for the whole scene or anything. It's not part of the aesthetic. What else did they do? They also talked, interesting, there was a shot of Spock's spacewalk, and it's a shot of the rings and everything, and they're saying that that is both unfinished and new. So whether they're adding new shots to that, or whether these are just shots they're going to put over Leonard Nimoy's face, so we get more shots of the reflections that may be more accurate or more better detail or something. I'm not sure, we don't know. But this is the fun. We have some mystery, we have some surprise. We don't know exactly what they're doing. I'm okay with this. We've got the original version, we've got the director's edition, they're not going away. We can have a different third version which has extra, different, new, more. I'm okay with it. As long as everything is improvement, I don't mind an improvement replacing something that, that is better than. I'm okay with that. Some people are like, we just want a 1080 version or a 2K version of the actual director's edition as it was. We don't want a new version. But we're getting a slightly new, we're getting a new version, even if it's only small superficial, differences. I'm just looking over the images. There was a few images. Probably the only other really drastically different one was the one where the Enterprise is approaching Vija and all the little stars turn into little cubes, and they turn into a walkway to the Enterprise. I really hope that me moving my hand around isn't making my camera adjust, because it makes noise. If it does, I apologise. It's really, really light. It's really bright, because the original was really dark. And again, part of that was probably because, I didn't mention this, I mentioned this in a video, because they showed a video of Vulcan, and they updated that, and it's a lot lighter. And this shot's a lot lighter too, and a lot of the effect shots were quite dark, and it was probably because it's easier to render a dark shot. They didn't have the time to do the detail for a lighter, brighter shot where you have to have more detail and more resolution, and now they can do it. So it's really white, it's really light, and the thing that interests me is when you look at it, it looks almost like a matte shot. It's like they're not recreating perfect digital images, they're like creating new digital matte shots, which will fit into the style of the film and the other matte shots, because you don't want that contrast of these perfect CGI sharp images, and then you have the original matte shots which were painted and soft. So I really like the look of this. I think it looks really beautiful. It's like a real digital matte shot, but painted. So I'm okay with it. Some people are saying it looks too different, And like with Vulcan, people are complaining it's too bright, it looks too different. But the original was probably only that dark because they didn't have the time to do, or the detail to do the high resolution, the rendering for the lighter shot. So and it matches the lighting, because the original photography was in the day at a national park in the US, and Spock is like holding his hand up, for the sun. So it doesn't make much sense for it to be so dark. So I'm fine with it. You see more detail. It looks virtually the same, just more detail. The mountains in the background are a little bit different, but they probably had to redo them for detail that wasn't there in the original shot. But I'm happy with it, fine with it. I don't have any issues with anything what they're doing. I'm glad they're doing extra. They're giving us, improvements, variations, something to look forward to, something to watch that edition for. And the only other thing I don't like, though, is the original titles, which were like in gold, doesn't suit the motion picture. I don't see gold when I look at that film. I see silver, blue, grey, dark colours, greens. I don't see yellow and gold. So I really don't like that they did that. I was hoping they might change that. I really think silver with a bit of blue would work perfectly for the motion picture. We don't want the plain white titles, the metallic sort of, titles with the stars moving through space and everything was much nicer. But I didn't like the gold, but they are keeping it. So that's been confirmed. I think that's everything. I tried to make a much shorter video. I want to make a 5-minute video, but I'm just too excited. I can't stop talking about it. Oh, the only other thing, the shot of Kirk looking out, and you see the reflection of the Enterprise on the shuttle window. That's back in, but looks like they photographed it off the screen and put a filter on it, because it looks awful when people are freaking out, because I think that's what the final work is going to look like. Some people are just overreacting and getting upset about nothing. I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I'm looking forward to it. I may even pay for Paramount Plus just to see it, and then buy it on Blu-ray. But yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to go. Got to 10 minutes. I think that's a nice number. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more about it. But I don't want it all spoiled. I want some surprises when I watch it. But I still want an idea of what we're going to get, so I'm not disappointed. But yep, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. How do you think this is going? Do you think it's going to be better than the Director's Edition? I think it will be. Different and better, and we still have the original. They can never take the original away. People need to relax a little bit. Bye.